Hey my friends, it's your pal Andrew, and today we're going to take a look at the Earthquaker Devices Legacy Reissue Series Fuzzmaster General. Octave-fuzz, baby, let's go. Okay, so the Fuzzmaster General is Earthquaker Devices' new/old pedal. They used to have another version, a couple of their versions, I think, or iterations of the Fuzzmaster General back in the day. 2012 or 2013, I think they had their original pedal come out, and then I believe there was another version. Could be wrong about that, but I had one a few years back. It was on my pedal board that sadly I sold. But at Earthquaker Day 2025, they re-released the Legacy Reissue Series version, and it has the soft click, which is different than my old one. Super rad. It lets you do the momentary switching and all that stuff, which is great because this is a gnarly, fucking shoegazy, fuzzy, just crazy, crazy fuzz pedal that's got some cool sounds in it. So I want to kind of hang out and go over some of those with you today. Just to note right off the bat, I'm using my two amps that I usually use, a 1983 Fender Concert 2 and a 1970 Fender Twin Reverb. They're mic'd as you see. I'm playing my Fender Elite Stratocaster. Most of the time I'm playing in the neck position. I'm a neck position guy for the most part, but I'll kind of let you know here and there when I'm switching back and forth with the pickups. But first off, let's hear what this thing sounds like clean. So let's apply this absolutely nasty fuzz octave pedal, the Fuzzmaster General. Let's start with everything at noon. Let me explain a little bit about how the switches and the knobs work here right off the bat. Here's your tone knob, then you've got a level, and you've got a fuzz. Now there's three modes to this. Far left on the toggle switch is a germanium diode. Far right, silicon diodes. Up the middle is no diode clipping. This is just an octave. We're going to start in the germanium setting. You're going to hear how gnarly this octave situation is when you're playing chords and stuff. Bridge pickup. So real splatty, real fuzzy, real nasty. I'll go back to my neck pickup. Start messing around a little bit with this. I'm gonna roll down the tone on this side. Actually, this is going up. So on the left side, so like 9 o'clock side, you have more highs and less lows. Over here on the 3 o'clock side, this is actually rolling off highs and going low. So I'm gonna call this the dark side, and over here is the light side. Start all the way on the light side, leave that fuzz at noon. Really hear where that octave comes through when you're playing up around the 12th fret. 12 through 14, 15 frets, somewhere up there is like the sweet spot for getting that octave coming through, get a little of that Jimi Hendrix ring modulator stuff happening. So up in the first positions, like chords sound really cool, really harsh, and they have a lot of that splattiness. You really have to kind of articulate a certain way to get things to come through and sound chordal, and so you get things that are tonal. Otherwise, you get a lot of funk and a lot of dissonances happening, which is really cool. It's one of the things that makes this pedal so rad, is that there's just like a really just dirty, disgusting, funky edge to it, if that's what you want. Bridge pickup. Bar chords. Go up higher on the neck. So some of those complex chords that are more open chords and stuff like that get really ringy and dissonant, almost ring modulator-ish, and it sounds really cool, really harsh. Turning my volume down. That's in the bridge pickup. It's not really cleaning up a ton. All the way back up, full roar. All right, so let's get a little bit more knobby with the tone here. Go to the dark side. Neck pickup. It's on the bridge pickup. Neck pickup. So on certain chords, it's just about what you pick out when you're playing the chord, how you articulate. It comes through less dissonant. Dissonantly? Less dissonant? I don't know. This is the low side. This is the dark side. All the way to the dark side, as we should be. Bridge pickup. Middle position on the Strat. Neck pickup. Really cool sounds you can pull out of this thing with that ring modulator kind of trip happening. All right, so let's give it some more fuzz. I'm gonna go back up to noon on the tone. I'm gonna give it some more fuzz here before we drop the fuzz. Bridge pickup. Neck pickup. So right off the bat, I like it more on my neck pickup, and I love the way when you sustain some of those notes, it really just like, it has like that primary note and it starts to just kind of like feed back into the octave, just decays into that octave, and it just sounds fucking ripping, man. Go to 3 o'clock on the fuzz. Also, just to point out, I'm still in the germanium diode mode, right? Bridge pickup. That is like the craziest frigging chugging sound. That's a crazy sound. All right, I'm gonna go fuzz all the way up. I'm in germanium sound. I'm on my bridge pickup on the Strat. Bar chords. Listen to that. Listen to that chord. Here's it with the fuzz. Come on, dude, that's some nasty shit. Oh, let me do that with the neck pickup. Just love this pedal. Love this pedal with the neck pickup. It makes everything sound so much more pronounced, and depending on how you set it, this has like a really, really nasty, but just, I don't know, man. It's like cottage cheese or something. It's beautiful. Okay, let's go turn the fuzz down a little bit, see what that does. I'm in my neck pickup position. Certain chords sound really cool. Some just sound like total trash, which is fucking rad if that's what you want. Total trash is awesome. Okay, so in the germanium setting, that's with the fuzz all the way down. That's on my neck pickup. Here's the bridge pickup. Neck. Bridge. I feel like noon on the fuzz is kind of the sweet spot, but I'm going to change over now to the silicon setting, everything at noon. So this is silicon diode clipping. Hear what that sounds like. I'm on my neck pickup. This pedal just sounds so fucking rad. It's almost like a square wave with that octave in there. I mean, if you're into all the noodly, like... Okay, so again, silicon diode clipping. Let's go the tone towards the brighter side. I'm gonna leave the fuzz at noon. Neck pickup, ooh. Okay, so that's a drastically different tone, right? With that tone towards the bright side, I'm gonna go all the way to the bright. Go towards the light. Bar chords. Is it possible to make like a 45-minute video with just a simple fuzz pedal? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's go about there with the tone. Silicon diode clipping. Here when it switches over to the octave, it like the primary tone, your main tone kind of just fades and decays into that octave. I mean, who the fuck isn't going to figure out a way to use that chunking sound, that chugging sound in their band? Come on, let's go. All right, back up to noon on the tone. Bridge pickup. FYI, this pedal roars with like a multi-speaker amp. On the twin reverb, you can just kind of hear like the fatness coming through. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit more tone here, or a little bit more towards the dark side because we love the dark side. This is not a big muff, this is not a fuzz face, this is a psychotic octave fuzz. Bridge pickup. Pretty chord. Okay, so let's go maybe back here again on the tone. That sounded pretty ripping and roaring there. Neck pickup. It's a really good sound right there. I kind of like the tone at noon the best though, everybody. I'm gonna go with the fuzz all the way down. Let's see what that sounds like with the silicone diodes. Wow, it's really, really, really gatey. Like a ring modulator with a gate on it. Like the sweet spot is almost with everything at noon. I will say that the way I like to play it is in the silicon setting, and I have the fuzz about 3 o'clock. I have tone about noon, maybe sometimes even cocked towards the dark side, because again, the dark side. And then I just kind of have my level set to taste. And that's in the neck position, the neck pickup. That's kind of... Nothing beats a shoegaze guitar player trying to play like a regular guitar player. Except every guitar player who knows how to play. I know how to play a little bit, come on, man. All right, so let's try this middle setting here. Everything at noon. So this middle setting is no diode clipping. This is just an octave, but it does trippy things to the signal, namely fuzz them out, but with an octave. Okay, so that setting has a lot more volume. I'm gonna roll it back just a little bit. That is actually really fucking ripping. I'm gonna go here with the fuzz. I'm actually gonna go... Let's talk about A minor with this pedal, or at least with that setting. That's gnar bar. All right, let's go with this. You guys, when you're messing with pedals, do you ever kind of like make interesting patterns, like kind of having both things the same way and have like a symmetry to the way you set the pedal? I kind of do that. I find that I like to have things, maybe it's just so I can remember, but I like to have things set so they're kind of symmetrical in certain ways. this sort of thing like bugs the shit out of me when it's just like kind of dialed in a certain bit. I find like with a pedal, I don't know if pedal companies do it on purpose. I don't know if Jamie Stillman from Earthquaker did it this way on purpose. Probably not, but it almost seems like it's tuned for a certain symmetry where you get like cool sounds out of symmetrical settings. So for instance, tone at noon, fuzz here, that's my setting. Bridge pickup. Neck pickup. That's just an insanely blown out sound. So with that middle octave there, well, let me see. I think this is, let me try something real quick. So at Earthquaker Day, Jamie Stillman did a demo of this pedal when they announced they were re-releasing it. And one of the sounds that he made when he was doing his demo up there on stage was kind of like this ring modulator sound. And I think it was done like this, neck pickup, fuzz all the way down, I believe, and in that octave only setting. Super rippy, very Velcro-y, very gated, trippy sound. Someone out there is going to use it for some cool shit. I think we should probably try this with bass. I was talking to my friend Ellie from the band Slugbug, who rocks, and she mentioned that she would like to hear what it sounds like with a bass, so let's try that. Okay, so with the bass, we're going to start with everything at noon. Put all the controls up at noon. Let's go over to the germanium side. Here's the clean tone on the bass. Let's make it messy. So let's get this guy on. Everything at noon on the germanium setting. Bass chords. Throw it over to the silicon side. Messy, messy, messy. All right, so let's mess around with some stuff here. I'm gonna leave the tone at noon. I'm gonna leave my level at noon as well. Let's bring it down and go all the way off on the fuzz, or all the way down as it were. Switch back over to the germanium setting. Let's try that. Give it some more fuzz. And that's about 9 o'clock there on the fuzz. Let's see, is it doing the octave thing? Let's go up to the 12th fret, see what it sounds like. Debunking the old myth that all guitar players can play bass, right? I don't think so. Okay, so let's go with a little more fuzz. I'm actually gonna just put it back to noon so we can hear what that sounds like again on the germanium setting. Messy, but it sounds really cool. Let's give it a little more fuzz. Liking the way that does like fifth chords, power chords on the bass with this fuzz sound really cool. All right, so let's go up to 3 o'clock on the fuzz. So you kind of hear the octaves coming through a little bit, which is interesting. I'm gonna go all the way up, germanium setting, fuzz all the way up. You can hear that hum happening. All right, so let's make it darker here. I'm gonna go back to noon on the fuzz. I'm gonna go towards the dark side here. See what that sounds like. 3 o'clock on the tone. Messy but rad. Let's go with the tone all the way rolled off. All right, so let's go back to noon, just for reference, hear what that sounds like on the tone. All right, so let's go towards the light side. I'm just gonna put it maybe to about, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. Still on germanium setting. Brighter. Tone setting at about 9 o'clock. Let's give it some more, we'll go all the way to the bright setting first, and then we'll give it more fuzz. Also remember, I'm using guitar amps rather than a bass amp, so your mileage may vary when you're using this with your actual bass rig. But I'm gonna go actually back up to noon, maybe give it a little bit more fuzz. Actually, let's go to 3 o'clock on the fuzz, and just for the sake of trying things, let's try it maybe about there with the tone. So my skills are atrocious on the bass, I apologize. But all right, so let's go down, give it a little more highs. I'm gonna leave the fuzz where it is for now. Still germanium, and we'll switch over in a sec. So definitely the better your skills are in terms of how you articulate on the bass, the better the pedal's gonna sound. I can already tell just because my playing is messy that it sounds a little bit messy, but when you articulate a little bit cleaner, a little bit more agile with your fingers on the bass and you're used to getting around, it sounds a little bit better. So every once in a while I get little windows of actually sounding somewhat decent, but you can kind of hear what it's doing with the tone there. Let's switch over to the silicon side. I'm gonna leave everything where it is for now and just kind of hear that. Well, actually, here's germanium again. Switch to silicon. Sounds a little more harsh, a little more saturated sounding. I'm gonna go back up to noon on the tone. I'm gonna leave the fuzz where it is for now. So right off the bat, for my taste, I think it sounds really heavy when you go towards noon, leave it around noon. Maybe let's try to get a little more of the dark side here. Got more heaviness, more growl. I actually like it around noon, but let's try it a little more to the dark side here. Oh, that's nasty. Nasty. That's pretty sick. All right, so I'm gonna go back the other direction. Let's go to 9 o'clock. So this should brighten it up a little bit for what it's worth. all the way up on the fuzz. All right, so I'm gonna go back up for the sake of things, about noon on the tone. Level I haven't really touched. I'm gonna go noon on the fuzz, but I'm gonna switch over to the octave only mode. Remember, this is more or less just adding an octave to the sound, which overdrives the signal from what I can tell anyway, like you heard on the guitar, but let's hear what this sounds like. I hear more octave coming through for sure with that. But anyway, that sounds pretty cool. Let's try a little more dark side going on here. Leave the fuzz where it is. Sounds good. I kind of prefer either the germanium or the silicon side rather than just the octave. Back on the guitar, just I think I'm going to put a little bit of other effects in the chain here so we can jam out a little bit. I'm going to turn the dispatch master on for a little bit of delay reverb. And then I always, if you saw my special cranker video, the Gear and Loathing video for special cranker, I always have that on. I'm going to turn that on now too. So it's going to be the Fuzz Master General into the special cranker, and then it gets reverbed and delayed by the dispatch master. So. So it's definitely a pedal that works a lot better for single note runs and stuff like that. If you have any kind of little 2 or 3 note or chords that have maybe a couple notes or a couple strings to them, it absolutely excels and makes crazy sounds that way. But you can use it for anything. If you have a sound that's really noisy, you're into experimentation, definitely shoegaze. Like every shoegaze guitar player should seriously consider putting the Fuzzmaster General on their pedal board. It just does some insane shit. And it's really cool for textures to add either in front of another overdrive or fuzz pedal, distortion pedal, or behind it. Just mess around with that. And one of the cool things is to have it going into like a reverb, but then also maybe having a reverb before it. So if I try to, let's do a reverb before the Fuzzmaster General. And I don't really have my amps up that loud either, so that's kind of nutty. But it really does help with that almost feedback situation, and it like lets everything sustain more, especially if you have a special cranker on like I do, or any kind of preamp, tube driver pedal, anything like that, blues driver, something is like a preamp pedal. I highly recommend using the Fuzzmaster General as an accent pedal. You can certainly use it as your main fuzz, but it sounds really cool to stack with other gain pedals. Just, it's really, really a cool paint color to have on your pedal board or your palette, right? Turn off the delay, but I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for watching. If you liked hanging out with me and looking at this pedal, listening to it with me, check out my other Gear and Loathing videos. I'm Andrew Sachs. Appreciate your time and hanging out, and I'm just gonna play it out, I suppose, so it doesn't become an hour and 45-minute video.